Good afternoon. And it is a beautiful day for a graduation. I would like to welcome University President Dr. Donald Farish, honored members of the University Trustees, honored members of the School of Law Board of Directors, honored guests, faculty, staff of the law school, university officials, alumni, parents, family members, friends, and of course, most importantly, the class of 2013 of Roger Williams University School of Law. Please rise as Renee de la Garza will now sing the national anthem.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. Roger Williams University School of Law has assembled an excellent faculty. They have graduated from the top law schools, clerked for leading state and federal judges, and have had distinguished careers in a broad range of practice settings. Their excellence is manifest in the books they publish and the many articles they place in the nation's top law reviews. They also play an important role in the advancement of the rule of law in Rhode Island on the national and even the international stage. But every single one of them understands in their bones that their most important job is the training of the next generation of leaders of the bench and bar. They do this by providing a rigorous but personalized education. My faculty colleagues know that the classroom is the foundation of a successful legal career, and that every day they make real for Roger Williams students these words from the dean of my law school. At school, you are not engaged so much in acquiring knowledge as in making mental efforts under criticism. You go to a great school not so much for knowledge as for arts or habits, for the art of expression, for the art of entering quickly into another person's thoughts, for the art of assuming at a moment's notice a new intellectual position, for the habit of submitting to censure and refutation, for the art of indicating assent or dissent in graduated terms, for the habit of regarding minute points of accuracy, for the art of working out what is possible in a given time, for taste, for discrimination, for mental courage, and mental soberness. I would now ask the entire faculty to now stand and accept appreciation from the graduates for the excellent education they have provided. Would the faculty please stand? One of our traditions at Roger Williams Law School is that the graduating class selects two professors of the year, one from the full-time faculty and one from the group of leading lawyers and judges who make up our adjunct faculty. The winner of the award for Best Full-Time Professor in 2013 is Sean Stacy. Sean, will you please rise and accept the congratulations of this commencement crowd? The Adjunct Professor of the Year for 2013 goes to Patrick Quinlan. Patrick, would you please rise and accept the congratulations from the crowd? Last year, the Student Bar Association recognized a member of the staff who goes above and beyond helping students on their voyage through law school. The 2013 recipient of the SBA Staff Member of the Year is Sue Benavides. Sue, would you please stand up? There's Sue. Finally, I want to take a moment to celebrate the career of one of the most valuable members of the Roger Williams Law Team, the Honorable Joseph R. Weisberger. Journalist Tom Brokaw coined the term the greatest generation to describe the men and women who survived the Great Depression, fought and won a world war against deeply evil enemies, and in the 1960s, 50s, and 60s unleashed an economic giant unseen in world history. These men and women also became leaders in their communities and helped our society progress towards the ideals set out in the Declaration of Independence. Last December, Rhode Island lost a man who was an exemplar of the greatest generation with the passing at age 92 of Joe Weisberger. Educated at Brown and Harvard Law School, Joe Weisberger served in the Navy in World War II, rising to the rank of lieutenant commander. He returned to Rhode Island and embarked on a remarkable career in public service that included election to the Rhode Island legislature and then appointment to the Rhode Island trial bench at only the age of 35. This began an amazing run of 56 years as a judge, including a decade as Chief Justice of the Rhode Island Supreme Court, where he was known for his scholarly opinions and a wonderful courtliness that made advocates feel truly welcome in our temple of justice. Chief Justice Weisberger also taught for decades at the National Judicial College. Yes, judges actually have to go to school, where his keen understanding of constitutional law led his students, judges from around the country, to frequently cite the opinions of the Rhode Island Supreme Court in their opinions. Everything I've said up to now is part of the public record. Now I want to address what he has meant to Roger Williams University and to me. Chief Justice Weisberger was one of the earliest champions of the idea of a law school in Rhode Island, and he has served us in important capacities, first as chair of the School of Law's Board of Directors, and then as a member of the university's Board of Trustees, unfailingly offering sage advice that shaped the trajectory of Roger Williams University and its law school. I also know he was very proud of what we have built here in Bristol, and this is the first commencement in a decade that he is not with us to share the achievements of the students arrayed in front of the dais, but I know he is here in spirit. I also want to say how much the Chief meant to me in my decade as Dean. We had many conversations in which he provided wise counsel and many others where I simply listened to him discuss legal issues. I've often said the conversations with the Chief gave me not just a deeper understanding of the law, but of the human condition. One final comment. When you get to know Joe Weisberger, you also get the bonus of getting to know his delightful wife of 61 years, Sylvia. We are indeed honored that Sylvia and her children are here today to witness the awarding of the Dean's Distinguished Service Award for only the second time. Here to accept the award on the family's behalf is one of Rhode Island's top lawyers, the Chief's son, Bob Weisberger. Bob?
Thank you, Dean Logan. On behalf of my mother, my sister Judith, my wife Gail, I want to thank Roger Williams University School of Law for this wonderful, wonderful honor. My father, I'm sure, and gotta give me 1 second, I gotta raise this up. I'm not as tall as Dean Logan, but I'm not as short as this stand is set. You know, my father, I don't know, I think maybe it was a combination of his virtues that caused him to be so loved and respected, you know, both as a jurist and as a person. He'd sometimes quote Robert Burns, the Scottish poet, and he'd say, "Ir the gift, the gifty gie us, to see ourselves is either see us." In other words, oh, what a gift when God gives us the ability to see ourselves as others see us. I think that this gift of seeing oneself as others see them, I suppose, places one in that extraordinary position of being able to follow the golden rule. A life without reflection is just not worth living. And when we do that, we're able to put others before ourselves. So it was, I think, this selflessness, combined with tremendous intellect, humility, and a very good sense of humor, that made my father so outstanding. We thank you so very much. The best of luck and congratulations to all of you graduates, and welcome to the practice of law in the state of Rhode Island or wherever you go. We look forward to seeing you in the future, and all the best. Dean Logan, thank you so much.
The journey from law school orientation to law school commencement takes years. It is a journey marked by challenges met and results today in a dream achieved. We know the few law students make the arduous journey to this special day without the help of people outside the halls of the law school. So now is the perfect time to recognize some of the other people who provided valuable support for the graduates today. This is sort of the audience participation part. First, it all starts with parents. I would ask all the mothers and stepmothers and fathers and stepfathers of the class of 2013 to please stand and accept a round of applause for all they've done to bring us to this great day. With the siblings, aunts and uncles, cousins, and last but certainly not least, the grandparents of the class of 2013, please rise and accept our thanks. And finally, many law students are married or otherwise involved in long-term relationships, and these people provide so much support for a law student. Would all domestic partners, spouses, common law or otherwise, plus their children, please stand and accept our thanks for their help. After a national search, the law school was delighted that Dr. Donald Farish became the 10th president of Roger Williams University last year. Besides being a distinguished teacher and scholar, Dr. Farish brought deep experience as an academic administrator. The law school community was especially pleased that Dr. Farish has a JD in addition to his PhD in biology, so he has survived the rigors of the Socratic method and moot court, not to mention the bar exam. I've worked closely with Dr. Farish since his arrival, and I know the School of Law is lucky to have such a wise leader at its helm. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Dr. Donald Farish.
Thank you, David. Distinguished guests, faculty and staff of the Roger Williams University School of Law, alumni, friends and families of the graduates, and the graduates themselves. Good afternoon and welcome to your day, commencement for the class of 2013. This is an exciting day for you, the graduates, because you are finally finished with your formal coursework and training and are ready to move on to the next stage of your lives. But it is also an exciting day for me because I'm seeing some of the people I met 2 years ago, shortly after I arrived, who are now about to graduate. This is my second tour of duty in Rhode Island, having first been here 30 years ago when I was at URI. At the time, there was no law school anywhere in Little Rhodey, and although many thought a law school to be unnecessary, some brave souls at Roger Williams thought otherwise, and 20 years ago they created one. Having taken a law degree while I was a member of the faculty at the University of Missouri almost 40 years ago, I was doubly delighted to return to Rhode Island. I love this state, but now I am once again at a university with a law school. We have seen in the 20-year history of this school how profound the impact of a law school has been on the workings of the state of Rhode Island. In addition to obvious improvements in the quality of legal practice and the much greater availability of legal services to the public, there is also no question that the law school has played a significant role in reducing corruption and unethical behavior on the part of public officials. Corruption has certainly not been eliminated, but it is on the wane because the Rhode Island Bar and Bench and the public itself has raised the expectations that public officials will exemplify ethical behavior, and there will be both public and judicial condemnation of lapses in such behavior. And these thoughts lead me to the next point. It is traditional at commencement everywhere for the campus president to charge the graduates. And since we at Roger Williams enjoy honoring academic traditions, I have the responsibility of charging you now. You have entered an honorable profession. As a nation that follows the rule of law, we depend on some of each generation's sharpest minds becoming lawyers and ensuring that the rights of society are balanced with the rights of the individual. We need talented lawyers to protect society from those who would cause it harm, to defend the individual against overly aggressive regulation and governmental bureaucracy, to ensure that all members of our society have access to legal representation when they need it. In short, to keep society's machinery running smoothly. These activities must be carried out at the highest ethical levels so as to ensure that society never becomes mistrustful of the legal process. These are significant responsibilities, but asking anything less of you is to diminish the importance of the roles you will play. Graduates of the Roger Williams University School of Law class of 2013, go forth with confidence and resolve. Aim high and make your mark on the world. And as you do so, remember your professors and those who have helped you get to where you are today, and make them proud. Thank you. As a young law school, it is imperative that we bring leading lawyers and judges into our orbit. Mark Mandel is one of America's leading attorneys for injured people. He has served as the president of both the Rhode Island Bar Association and the American Trial Lawyers Association. Some of you may recognize his name from his work as counsel for the victims of the horrific Station nightclub fire. Mark is on the podium in many capacities today. He is a trustee of Roger Williams University. He is chair of our board of directors here at the law school, and he is a popular member of our adjunct faculty. To bring greetings from the board of directors, I am pleased to introduce to you Mark Mandel, Esquire.
Well, I want to share in President Farish and Dean Logan's welcome to everybody and their recognitions by name and title without repeating them again. I just want to take a few minutes especially to talk to our graduating students, including my own students who I see here today. We're honored that you came here to school, and we're honored to have had you as our students. We're proud of your accomplishments and of your being here today, and we look forward to sharing in your success and in your accomplishments in the future. Today, as we recognize and honor you, we also honor two remarkable people with honorary doctors of law. Morris Dees is truly an American hero. He's dedicated his life to seeking and trying to achieve equality for all people. To Morris, it doesn't matter how rich or poor you are, the color of your skin, your gender, your ethnicity, your religion. Equality actually means that to Morris Dees. So I've had the privilege of being Morris's friend for over 40 years now. I'm honored and humbled to be his friend. You'll hear from him directly. Let me just say, he graces us in this graduation with his presence. We're also recognizing and honoring Presiding Justice Alice Gibney of our trial court in Rhode Island, our state superior court. Justice Gibney, Presiding Justice Gibney, has been a champion for women's rights in her years as a trial lawyer and almost 30 years now also as a judge on our trial court. To say that a judge is respected and admired is a huge compliment for any judge, But when you can say that that's true and they are actually beloved and revered by the lawyers who appear before them and other judges, it's such rarefied air that I think it's one of the ultimate compliments that you can pay a judge, and that is Alice Gibney, Justice Gibney. I've also had the honor of knowing Justice Gibney for quite a few years now, and just think the world of her. I think she's incredible as a person and as a judge. So it's the qualities that they share that bring us great lessons today. It's their search for justice and for what's right, decent, and good in society that binds them together and creates a bond with us. So just a few of the lessons that they teach each of us. So no matter how important money is, and it's got its importance, it is never as important as the quality with which we live our lives. The unwise choices we make when we focus on money and short-term gain are too many. So we always have to, and in your practice, please do, always place the value of human spirit and personal ethics over personal gain. The legacy we leave is going to be directly defined by the charity, by the compassion, and by the understanding that we provide. Our epitaphs, individually and collectively, are not going to be defined by any calculated effort to construct them, but they're going to be defined by the quality with which we live. You won't be remembered, trust me, by how much you have at the end of your life. You'll be remembered by how much you have given. So we need to motivate people, and I pray that you do this in your practice, to strive to learn and grow in wisdom, to be even better than they are, than we are, and to please help others less fortunate and in need. I will tell you that one of the lessons I've learned, and I love my kids. That's what I've got 5 years now of kids out there, sometimes on the other side of my cases, which is sort of interesting for me. But I will tell you that one of the greatest lessons I've learned from my students is that you can be our teachers as much as our students, and that we have got to learn as intently to you as we try to teach you, because ultimately you are our place in history and you are our legacy to the world. So on behalf of the law school, in addition to what President Farish and Dean Logan has said, I just want to tell you that we wish you every success in your life and all good fortune in your future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. The School of Law is indeed fortunate to be able to award honorary degrees today to the Honorable Alice Bridget Gibney and Morris Seligman Dees. Would Chairman of the School of Law Board of Directors, Mark Mandel, please escort the Honorable Alice Bridget Gibney to the podium? Judge Gibney, you are the presiding justice of the Rhode Island Superior Court. A West Warwick native, born to school teachers, you began your career as a law clerk to Superior Court Judge Florence K. Murray before entering private practice in Providence. Between successful stints in private practice, you served as an assistant U.S. attorney and as a workers' compensation court commissioner. On the strength of your performance, you were appointed an associate justice of the Superior Court in 1984. From 1991 until 2003, you served on the state's Commission on Judicial Tenure and Discipline, including 6 years as its chair. You have also, I am pleased to say, taught as an adjunct professor here at RWU Law. Judge Gibney, when you were appointed to the Superior Court, you told an interviewer that a judge is the only thing you've ever wanted to be. When former Governor Donald Carcieri nominated you to your current position in 2009, he said, and quote, "Justice Gibney is admired and respected by her judicial colleagues and by all those who come before her courtroom. Considered a conscientious and gifted trial judge, known for her ability to manage complex litigation and high case volume, she is well suited to serve as presiding justice," end quote. But today, Justice Gibney, you have achieved yet another great goal this time as a parent. And we are pleased to recognize your outstanding professional achievements on the same day that your son, Nicholas Perillo, is honored as a member of our class of 2013, having earned his Roger Williams Law degree. Timing is everything. Judge Gibney, for your lifelong service to law and justice in Rhode Island and beyond, we are honored today to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, given this 17th day of May, 2013. You go back and get them. Will Mark Mandel please escort Morris Seligman Dees to the podium? Morris Dees, you rose from humble beginnings as a son of an Alabama cotton farmer to become a national leader in protecting civil rights as founder and chief trial counsel of the Southern Poverty Law Center in Montgomery, Alabama. As a young boy, you worked the fields alongside African American laborers, witnessing firsthand the social and economic deprivations caused by Jim Crow treatment at its worst. After launching your law practice in 1960, you won a series of groundbreaking civil rights cases that helped integrate government and public institutions. Known for your innovative lawsuits, which have crippled some of America's most notorious white supremacist hate groups, you have been recognized with numerous awards. You were named Trial Lawyer of the Year by Trial Lawyers for Public Justice and awarded the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Award by the National Education Association. In 2009, the American Trial Lawyers Association inducted you into the Trial Lawyers Hall of Fame. In 2012, the American Bar Association honored you with its ABA medal. You have been the subject of an NBC movie titled Line of Fire, covering your landmark legal victories against the Ku Klux Klan. You were also portrayed in the 1996 feature film Ghosts of Mississippi, about the murder of a civil rights worker by a white supremacist. In 2006, you were named one of the 100 most influential lawyers in America by National Law Journal. In addition, you've offered 3 books: your autobiography, A Season for Justice, as well as Hate on Trial, the case against America's most dangerous neo-Nazi, and Gathering Storm, America's militia threat. Morris Dees, for your tireless and courageous service to the cause of justice and equality, we are honored today to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, given this 17th day of May, 2013. I now invite Morris Dees to make the commencement address.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this great honor and for being with you today. It's so important. And you just heard from Mark Mandel as good a commencement address as you could have, and the lessons that he laid out for you to follow are things that I would have said. I actually got my notes before he got up here, and he read my opening speech. So I'm gonna start off this way. I knew Roger Williams before you ever even heard about him, because I'm a Baptist. I'm from Alabama, and we understood him to be a courageous man who got run out of Massachusetts and set up this state for freedom, for individual rights and liberty. And what a great name for a law school to have than Roger Williams. And if I have a mentor as a lawyer, it would be a woman, a teacher down in the cotton farming community I grew up with in Montgomery County, Alabama. And she was my Baptist Sunday school teacher, as well as my teacher. We had a Bible verse in class every day as well as in church in those days. And I think they closed the school to get rid of Mrs. Vera Bell Johnson. But she wanted us to grow up to be good citizens. And there was one thing that she said that we could not do, and that was drink alcoholic beverages. And, you know, and she had a button about this big around that she wore. I'm sure she got it in those days of the Prohibition battle outlawing drinking, because I'm sure she led the troops down in Montgomery, Alabama to get that vote. And on this button it said, "Lips that touch wine shall not touch mine." She died an old maid. And one day I was in class. I'm 12 years old, 1948, the lawyer to be, and I, you know, saw the contradiction in things she had said, and I said, "But Mrs. Johnson, you told us last week that Jesus in one of his miracles turned water into wine." And she said, "Yes, Morris Dees, but we'd have thought a whole lot more of Jesus if he hadn't have done that." But she, along with the other teachers, would take us out in front of this little country school. We'd stand by the gravel road there, and they raised the flag, and we'd give the Pledge of Allegiance. And I remember words that, from that pledge, that stuck with me then and today. One nation with liberty and justice for all. It wasn't much that this young woman could do in that school to change the segregation, but she told us in class that she felt like the colored people, as she called them, were not being treated fairly. And it was through her inspiration that when I got my law degree, I began to represent people that were from my farming community that wasn't being treated fairly. And after 53 years of law practice, I can tell you that I am so proud to be a lawyer. The lessons that I've learned from those I've worked with, the juries, the judges, the pro bono lawyers like Mark, who helps people on cases, and others, and the clients I've represented, has really shaped my life. America is a nation of laws, and lawyers led the way long before we were a country, long before the Declaration of Independence was written. We know that lawyers wrote our Constitution. They wrote our Declaration of Independence. They write our documents. They deal with our cases. They make decisions that affect America's life. They're essential to democracy. But that was one lawyer who set a great example for us, a lawyer not far from here in Boston, Massachusetts, named John Adams. He was a young lawyer and had created quite a name for himself. In 1773 or 4, he took on a case that made him very popular with these budding revolutionists. A man brought his boat into the Boston harbor. It was filled full of wine. He snuck it in the middle of the night to avoid paying taxes. The British taxing officials caught him, and they seized the boat, put him in jail, seized his cargo, and John Adams came to represent this man. Well, maybe the judges who heard that case had their fingers in the wind because they knew there was a disgruntling attitude with the colonies, and so Adams was able, through his good lawyering, to get this man freed, his boat freed and his cargo freed. The name of the boat was Miss Liberty, and its captain was John Hancock. Well, things rocked along, and the colonists became much more upset with King George, and they have a big commons in Boston, you know so well, and people gathered there, several hundred, and some of them were drinking and got boisterous and throwing rocks in bottles at the policemen. They were the redcoats. There was a dozen or so of them gathered around trying to keep order. Well, in order to protect themselves, these redcoats said, they fired into the mob. You know this as the Boston Massacre. Well, the governor probably had his fingers in the wind too, so he figured, well, we better indict Captain Preston and these soldiers to show that we would try to bring them to justice. And he figured that he'd have no trouble getting good lawyers to represent Captain Preston and these 7 British soldiers who had been indicted for murder. Well, as the prosecutor went around looking for lawyers to represent him, went to the firms that represented the king's companies and the big businesses of that day, they all had a convenient conflict of interest. They decided, well, my fingers in the wind too, maybe I shouldn't get involved here. So the governor sent for John Adams. Mr. Adams went into his office, and the prosecutor was there, and they said, "Sir, you're a good trial lawyer. You have a good reputation. We need a lawyer to represent these soldiers." Adams knew about this case, and he said, "Well, I'll let you know." He went back and talked to his friends, his cousin Samuel Adams, who had a militia group, and others, and they said, "Man, don't take this case. One day we're going to take over this country, and you're going to be a leader in this country." Well, Adams did take the case, and he tried it for many days, used self-defense as his defense, did a brilliant job, and the jury acquitted Captain Preston and these 7 soldiers of murder. And a historian wrote about this trial and John Adams. He said, "Adams' brilliant summation revealed his awareness of the potential personal and political risk of him taking this case. He declared that if he could save only one life, the blessings and tears of that one person would be for him sufficient consolation for the contempt of the masses." And Adams, in his own autobiography, wrote that the defense of Captain Preston and the 8 British soldiers was one of the best pieces of service that he ever rendered his country, because he made sure that the rule of law and the trial by jury, not the mob, would rule in the colonies. And we know that it did not hurt his political career. He became the 2nd president of the United States of America. You hold the keys to the gates of justice. It is a solemn responsibility. And you'll have cases that come before you because there are tyrants today, like King George was a tyrant. They'll come before you, and they may not be, it's easy to look back at John Adams and say, "Boy, that was courageous," but there are going to be cases that will try you as a person as to whether you'll take a stand. It could be a small matter or a large matter, but it will in some way give you an opportunity to take a stand for somebody for justice. Shakespeare was right, as I'm sure you Shakespeare scholars know, in Henry VI, when Shakespeare said, "If tyranny is to prevail, you must first kill all the lawyers." Not quite the slogan you see on T-shirts. There are a lot of issues that we face today. Some of those issues deal with immigration. You'll travel all over this country. I know not many of you are from this state. You're from all over America. You've got all kinds of issues dealing with poverty, dealing with distribution of our wealth, dealing with health care, you name it, LBGT issues, many, many more that are going to take your time and your efforts and your ingenuity. You know, human rights begin close to home, in our schools, in our communities, and in our workplaces. And unless people find justice and human rights in these places, then we as a nation will look in vain for progress in a larger world. Dr. Martin Luther King in 1963 stood on the Mall in Washington, D.C., begging this nation for justice. And in that speech, he quoted the prophet Amos. Amos, at the time when the Jewish people in his community were not treating those among them fairly, Amos made a famous statement that Dr. King felt was applicable to our country. Dr. King said, quoting the great prophet Amos, "Let's not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream." Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dees, for your inspiring remarks. At this point in the commencement ceremony, the 18th for the School of Law, I invite the class valedictorian, Andrew S. Tujan, to now offer some remarks on behalf of the class of 2013.
Walking into law school was a scary experience. I was terrified, horrified, petrified, you name it. I was leaving a career in the Navy, hadn't attended a college class in more than 5 years, and I didn't do so well back then. I wasn't from Rhode Island or even New England. I didn't know a single person. I'd heard the tales of the cutthroat nature of law school, the competition between students, overwhelming reading assignments, and intimidating professors. The night before orientation, we had a reception on the second floor of the law school. Being the social butterfly that I am, I was standing awkwardly by myself. Andrew Lynch walked up to me and introduced himself. He asked me the usual questions. Where was I from? Where did I go to school? And brought me over to meet the people he was talking to. The next day, orientation began, and I was waiting in line to get my student ID. Mallory Diaz was standing in front of me. She turned around, smiled, and said hello. We hit it off instantly. I learned she would be in my section, so I would know at least one person in my first class. Later that day, SBA hosted a barbecue right over there. Waiting in line to get my burger, I started talking to Devin Noyce. She invited me to sit down at her table, and I met a few more students. Each of those interactions might seem insignificant. After all, we had dozens of such experiences those first few days. But to me, looking back, they were extraordinary. As I walked into room 285 that first time, I was still pretty nervous. But I was no longer scared that I wouldn't make friends, or that my classmates would do everything in their power to ensure that they, and only they, succeeded. When the professor walked in the room, looked at us, and prepared to select her first victim, I sat there desperately hoping it wouldn't be me. And I realized I wasn't alone. We were all terrified, all hoping we would be the first casualty. And yet, here we are today, nearly 3 years later, lawyers. It certainly wasn't easy. We read thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of pages. We toiled through exams, wrote papers, worked in internships, externships, clinics, part-time jobs during the summer and throughout the school year. We led student organizations. We volunteered. And we even found time once in a while to have fun. At Barrister's Ball, the annual softball tournament, on the weekends, in the way only law students can have fun. Late at night, locked in a library study room, making up ridiculous hypos while preparing for a property or crim pro exam. We are why we succeeded. In the words of the English poet John Donne, no man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. People might view law school and the law in general as an individual pursuit. It is not. It is a team sport. We studied for exams, we celebrated the good times, and commiserated the not-so-good ones. Throughout it all, we did it together. So, take a look at the person sitting next to you. That person probably helped you succeed in some way, shape, or form. Take a moment to is to the professors who answered question after question, to the friends who tolerated my incessant rants about everything from torts to sports, to my parents and family who always believed in me, and most of all, I owe my wife, Lori. I know I wouldn't be here today without her love and support. We all accomplished this together, and I'm proud to call myself a member of the Roger Williams University School of Law class of 2013. Hope to see you in court someday soon. And hopefully none of us will be wearing orange jumpsuits or handcuffs.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Graduates, as you leave the familiar grounds of law school to undertake a career in the law, I challenge you to retain that sense of hope and optimism that you brought with you on your first day of law school. Remember the lessons taught about personal and professional responsibility so that you will always be proud of who and what you are. And keep ever in mind that as a lawyer, you are empowered, indeed duty-bound, to make a difference in the lives of the clients you will serve and the society in which you live. We will now confer the law degrees and present the degree candidates for the class of 2013. Will the candidates for the degree of Juris Doctor please rise? President Donald Farish, I certify on behalf of the faculty of the School of Law that these candidates are eligible for the degree of Juris Doctor.
By virtue of the authority granted by the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, and delegated by the Board of Trustees of Roger Williams University, I confer upon you the degree of Juris Doctor with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. I note the candidates have come forward. Associate Dean for Academic Affairs Andrew Horwitz will present each candidate.
Jennifer Marie LeBlanc. Caitlin Marie Humphreys. Carolyn Conroy Hayden. Caitlin Noel Evans. Mallory Rain Diaz. Christina K. Coleclaw. Vanessa Christina Coletto Villalobos. Alexandra C. Hudd, magna cum laude. Kendra M. Levesque, magna cum laude. Andrew Killian Fisher, magna cum laude. Andrew S. Tugin, summa cum laude. Nicholas L. Nybo, magna cum laude. Andrew J. Coughlin, cum laude. Juliana McKittrick, cum laude. Marjorie Beth Whalen, cum laude. Zara Maynard Taylor, LMLR. Tracy Harper, magna cum laude. Samantha Rose Slack. Allison Elizabeth Kraus. Michael J. Corona, cum laude. Nicholas J. Papadakis. Mark Olson. Nicholas J. Perillo, cum laude. Matthew John Pimentel, magna cum laude. George Carter Whaley, Jr. Lauren Elizabeth Hill, cum laude. Matthew Thomas Giardina, Jr., Esquire, magna cum laude. Brett M. Kelly Riley, cum laude. Brandon M. Biggs. Kyle C. Smith. Christopher John McNally. Andrew C. Covington, cum laude. James Harry Oliverio, summa cum laude. Evan B. Magnone. Christopher L. Haggerty. Gregory Nicholas Hoffman, magna cum laude. Alicia Dawn Luft, cum laude. Lauren Michelle Patrizio, cum laude. Laura Jane Atley. Kaylee Lynn Wildenhain. Lauren Elizabeth Casola. Dylan R. Owens. Kimberly Elaine Chester. Rachel Marie Melissa Levine. Christopher R. Alger. John Ulysses Reyes. Daniel E. Bewley. Sean D. Reichert. Matthew John Soderov. Sean Michael Leonard. Sarah Beth Oster. Lauren Ashley Vineyard. Stephanie L. DeLuca. Hillary Jean Black. Brittany Ann Hepp, cum laude. Carol Ann Chanko Porter. Chantal Genevieve Bromage, magna cum laude. Caitlin E. Grandchamp, magna cum laude. Pamela Jean Ornstill, Esquire, cum laude. Dennis Andrew Costigan. Angela Marie Lawless, magna cum laude. Robert E. Ainsley. Michael Andrew Hockenberry. James A. McMahon. Jonathan A. Ellis. Dustin J. Bruns. Nels Alnus Schnobrick. Alexandra Gabriel Bianchi. Ariel Danielle Carter. Courtney Elizabeth Furland. Diana Valeria Morrow. Eleanor C. Vadney, magna cum laude. Dustin Marie Gomes. Allison Christine Belknap, cum laude. Louis Gregory Abelera. Haley Marissa Kahn. Robert Edward Munns. Michael Brian Manning. Chelsea Claire Morgan. Jacqueline Ann Hartley. Elizabeth Maeve Hartley, cum laude. Nicole Solis. Genevieve Rose Samard. Michael James Mullane, cum laude. Eric P. Knowles. Samuel Gray Eckel. Philip Arthur Marcazzini. Joseph Stephen Mazzula II. Michael D. Resnick, magna cum laude. Christian Salvatore Infantolino, cum laude. Matthew Robert Cate. Michael Fayez Giorgi. Tara Marie Corsello. Francesca M. Black. Sarah R. Bratko. Catherine Marie Caola. Joseph Paul Carnavali. Paul Katsetos. Michael Patrick Racola. Caitlin Elizabeth Sweeney, cum laude. Kevin F. Brignol. Olajimake M. Akirimisi. Jessica Hayward. Terrell L. Thompson. Maeve Caitlin Tibbetts. Devin Caroline Noyce, cum laude. Cameron Horadek Hitson. Dawn Allison Rigby. Rachel Ann Gelber, cum laude. Monique M. Paquin. Ryan Peter Stranko. Kristen Miranda Alex. Christopher Joseph Osborne, Jr. Adam J. DeFulvio. Sean J. Massey, cum laude. William Jang Jakofsky, magna cum laude. Allison Rice Quay, cum laude. Jundapon Lipu Laliam Tavise. Morgan J. Labello. William Vincent Averona. Justin Michael Pierce. Colin A. Weiss. Chet Lewis Jackson. William H. Yost III, magna cum laude. Luis Fernando Mancheno, cum laude. Elizabeth Rose Rains LeBrun. Alexandra F. Brasskemper. Brooklyn Marie Elioff. Nicoletta Poppy Aguirres, Esquire. Carolyn May Rankin, magna cum laude. Jillian M. Dubois, cum laude. Brian Passioni. Noah Jonathan Kilroy. Maribel Echeverry. Rizwanul Huda. Anna Catherine Guy. Catherine L. Chesney. Erica Sophia Pistorino, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Renee Anderson, cum laude. Jamie Chung. Daniel Joseph Neal. Jeremy David Kaufman. Jared Nash Ballin. Krista Marie Harris. Elise Marie DeRose. Leah Lynn Moraldi, cum laude. Nina Marie Halverson. Morgan E. Blanchard. Brandon Michael Kopchensky. Jamie L. Russell. John Sawyer Booth. Matthew R. Riley. Nicholas Emmanuel Stanisi. Zachary G. Pendleton. Catherine Ann Lavalle. Corey Christopher Sylvia. Brent Scott Davis. Jeffrey H. Smith. Eric D. Wasserman, magna cum laude. Barry W. Leo. Aaron M. Cardenas. Kishore I. Kapoor. Frank J. Garfalo III, cum laude. Erica S. Janton, cum laude. Nabila Bashir. Corey Lynn Stephen. Melissa R. Chalik, LMMA, magna cum laude. Karen J. Quinlan. Cynthia M. Bissett. Ladies and gentlemen, the graduating class of 2013.
Before you depart our lovely campus, I encourage the graduates and their families to join us over at the law school building for some light snacks and a chance to shake hands, hug, pose for pictures with faculty, friends, and celebrate the conclusion of a remarkable journey. I want to close these commencement exercises with a request familiar to fans of writer Garrison Keillor. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch. So thank you. And would the audience be seated and remain seated until the platform party and the graduates have filed out? Thanks very much.